Oh boy, this one's gonna be a doozy and a tough one to record, so, but here we are. Hey guys, it's Emily. So, I wanted to do and record this video, and I've been kind of slacking on it, and I've been kind of, there's been a lot other things going on. It's kind of been, the idea kind of, floated into my mind not too long ago, and then, yeah, and also, just, other things going on, and, yeah, they get in the way of me actually physically doing it, so, but here we are, here we go. So, this is gonna be really hard for a lot of people to hear, and I'm sorry, but it has to come out, and it has to, it has to happen, so, let's get on with it, shall we? So, here we go. So, yeah, I am saying goodbye to 911. Now, I know this is gonna be, again, it's gonna be tough to hear for quite a lot of people. I totally understand, and I 100% apologize, but I've just gotten to the stage and / that point in my life, and it's just gotten to the stage as well, like, for the show itself. Like, to me, I'm not building interest anymore, like, to be honest with you. I understand, and before anyone, comes in the, just before anyone, says anything, I would just say this point blank. I am not saying goodbye to the show because of what happened to Bobby. That's not the reason. Because we knew at some point that was gonna happen. And, it was a creative decision. It had to happen. So, that's not why I'm, closing that chapter of my life, and that's not why I'm not, that's not the reason. But, the main reason is, kind of a little bit, of just the way the show's going at this point. Now, obviously, and also, the other reason is why I'm, closing this chapter in my life, and I'm kind of, moving on from the show at this point, is also because of the, now, again, I know people are going to be bitching about this, but, at least certain people I know of, but, it's mainly also because of the Buck and Tommy storyline, where it's going at the moment. Now, listen, I understand that Tommy is a side character. He will not be in every single episode. He will not get mentioned every single episode, and, yeah, I totally understand that. I totally understand that part of it. I seriously do, but it's honestly getting ridiculous at this point, at least to me. So feel free, for anyone else who, like, feels this with me or agrees with me with this, then feel free to let me know if you're feeling the same way. But, just to me, it's getting ridiculous at this point. I understand that the entire team is grieving the loss of Bobby. They're trying to deal with this new reality that, he's gone. Chimney is the new permanent captain of the team, and, stuff like that. It technically is a hard adjustment. I get it. I understand, and, yeah, so, but yeah. But to me, I totally understand, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just, they held off on the Tommy storyline until next season / season 10, because, again, first of all, ABC did confirm that they don't plan on stopping the show after season 9, so, yeah, maybe, who knows, maybe, for the whole Tommy stuff, who knows, but right now, I would understand why they'd be holding off on it, because, this, with the whole entire 118, dealing with this new chapter in their life, like, they're, on this road, and stuff like that, with Bobby being gone, Chimney is now the permanent captain of the team. I would understand why they would hold off that storyline for, like, to tell, like, way later, because, again, they're grieving, they're dealing with this new reality. I get it. But to me, again, because the main reason why, I think the main reason why I got into the show is because of them. Because I knew that, I didn't know who the characters were at the time, but I did know, obviously, I knew that, Buck and Tommy had kissed, but I didn't, yeah, it was just like, I knew they kissed, but I did not know what season it was. I just knew it was fairly recent. It was fairly recently happening in the show at that point. So, by the time I was getting into it, so yeah, I decided to, like, you know, yeah, I was like, what is this from? Like, okay, so this happens in the show at some point. I was wondering what the show was called, and, you know, stuff like that. I found out it was 911, and then I did a whole binge through of the show, and then, you know, I was anxiously waiting to get to that part, and, you know, but again, I ended up binging, what the fuck? Okay, yeah. I ended up binging the whole show in, like, a day or so, because, again, I was so addicted, and, you know, back then, and just, you know, yeah, it was, like, a good, I think it was a good about 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, I don't know, but, you know, yeah, it was just, you know, once I finally got to that moment, I was like, oh my god, like, I felt so giddy inside, like, it was so cute, I loved it so much, and then, you know, again, of course, I watched the rest of season 7, and then, you know, that whole ride was really cute and really fun, and then the beginning half of season 8, and, you know, stuff like that, before the episode we shall not name, before that came out, and then, you know, that's when the whole, you know, it was nice, it was really nice, you know, seeing how they were doing, they were going strong, they were doing fine, and then said episode came out, where we thought, you know, it was going to be the moment. We were like, hey, they're going to say I love you to each other. Or one of them is going to say I love you, and then, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, the opposite happened. So, yeah, and that's where, to me, it all went downhill. And also, not only that, it was also after the morning after they hooked up in episode 11 of season 8. So, yeah. Because, you know, at first, you know, I understand why Tommy did what he did. He had his reasons, but I'm like, to me, for, you know, the breakup was honestly kind of, you know, it was kind of on Tommy, because, again, he could have stayed and could have, you know, been more honest to Buck and, you know, and stuff like that at that time. But, you know, again, it's just, you know, yeah, there was that, and then, after, of course, the morning after the hookup, that was all Buck, to be honest with you. The way that, that situation ended, you know, the way all that ended, I'm like, yeah, Buck, that was on you, buddy. So, yeah, basically, yeah, we're still in a bit of a kerfuffle here, because, you know, we've barely seen much of them at all. Obviously, again, of course, we've seen Buck, but, you know, I'm meaning together, like, Buck and Tommy together, because, again, you know, they still have yet to talk about their issues and work out their shit, so, yeah, but, you know, but I'm like, whatever, so, because again, I know that Tommy's a side character, he won't be shown in every episode, you know, he won't be mentioned every episode, and, you know, it's just, you know, yeah, it's, you know, I understand, obviously, you know, again, I've grown to, you know, obviously, again, because once I found out that Tommy was a side character, and, you know, stuff like that, and when I got introduced to him as a character in season 2, yeah, you know, yeah, and then, of course, because, again, season 2, you know, Tommy wasn't at his best, again, because, again, his past, you know, and everything and all that, he wasn't at his best, you know, as a person, so, but when we got introduced back, when we got reintroduced to him in season 7, we obviously tell, like, ever since he transferred out, again, his whole you know, his whole personality, his whole personality had changed. He is a better person now, because he is now around more, you know, good, you know, accepting a positive environment, because, you know, he's at Harbor now, and, you know, he's at the 217. He's never been happier. He's never been in a more comfortable place to be himself. So, because, yeah, again, Gerard is to blame for that, for the 118 originally at that point. So, but yeah, but now I'm happy that he's in a better place now. I'm happy that he, you know, he changed for the better, and, you know, he's, you know, he gotten, you know, yeah, he's in a better workplace now. He's in a better environment. He's open to be himself, and, you know, yeah, and all that. So I'm happy for him on that front. But, you know, again, his past actions, what, you know, he said to Hen and Chimney and stuff like that, yeah, that was unacceptable. No, I really do hope that he did, you know, that he did get held accountable for his actions back then, but now, again, we can definitely tell that he's definitely changed ever since he transferred out, and then, you know, he's been, you know, working on himself to try to be better and, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah, but, you know, yeah, but either way, yeah, just, you know, the whole, you know, but yeah, but basically, yeah, the whole thing is just, you know, I'm honestly just, I'm kind of over it at this point. I understand, you know, why, I understand certain reasons why, you know, yeah, I get it, but I'm like, to me, I'm kind of losing my patience, because I kind of want it to, like, pick up the pace, like, go faster, but yet again, they can't really do that, because, but yet again, you know, the thing about, you know, shows and movies is about pacing, and, you know, stuff like that, you know, you can't really have things be too rushed, but yet again, sometimes 911, it rushes certain, you know, amount of, you know, they have their certain amount of things that they rush, and, you know, stuff like that. It's sometimes a lot of things do feel rushed in the show, because again, it's a, you know, it's a medical drama and stuff like that, so, but, yeah, whatever, but, you know, so yeah, and then, but mainly over, you know, the course of, you know, basically when season 9 came out, and, you know, stuff like that, and then, that's kind of when I've been feeling this way, and, you know, stuff like that. It's kind of been, like, you know, I've been having mixed emotions on the show, and, you know, stuff like that. Like, I've just been, yeah, I felt this since season 9 began airing, like, you know, when it came out, so, I just, you know, it's, you know, yeah, sometimes, you know, it's just, yeah, sometimes it's a lot, and, you know, you can't really do much about it, but let it go, you know? So, yeah, I haven't even seen, you know, I literally even haven't seen, you know, 911 Nashville either. I haven't even seen an episode of that. I've been, don't get me wrong, even though I haven't been watching the episodes of both shows, I've been keeping up with the show, like, on social media and stuff like that, like, you know, what people have been saying about the episodes as they come out every week and stuff like that, you know, what's been going on, blah, blah, blah. But as for, like, you know, this recent Thursday, I've just, you know, I was dealing with a Wi-Fi outage, and, you know, yeah, I couldn't really, you know, see what was going on, because, again, I had no internet, so that was lovely, because I was just, you know, because I had that, you know, that feeling, instinct feeling, where, like, I want to know, like, did they mention Tommy? Is Tommy in the episode? Blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, he wasn't, and, yeah, no mentions, no nothing, because, again, the previous episode before this recent week's episode, yeah, I heard Tommy got mentioned twice, and, you know, it was a whole, you know, Buck was also being more open about his sexuality and stuff like that, like, you know, he's being more comfortable being himself, and, you know, so, like, and don't get me wrong, I'm happy for him, I'm happy he's, you know, being more comfortable about his sexuality, and, you know, he's accepting more, you know, like, more willing to, like, you know, kind of, you know, just, you know, again, be more open about it, and, you know, stuff like that. I'm glad that they're doing that for him, and, yeah, I'm glad that episode, you know, yeah, that little brief arc was, you know, in that episode. I'm glad that they finally give that to him, and, you know, stuff like that, so, but yeah, just ever since, I've just been, you know, honestly, I've been out of sync with the show, because I'm like, because I'm like, this, honestly, to me, it's getting old at this point, because I'm like, you know, so I'm like, y'all writers with the show at this point, do whatever the fuck you want. I'm out of here at this point, because I'm like, I understand, but, you know, yeah, for us fans of the Bug and Tommy storyline, you know, yeah, you know, I feel really bad for us right now, because I'm like, we're just, again, I understand for the show that they have to do this, but, you know, because they have to focus on the main characters and all that, but I'm like, just, like, we were happy. We were all so happy. And what do they decide to do with it? Yeah, the breakup, and then, you know, the, Buck's actions after the hookup scene, and then, you know, well, after the hookup scene, but you know what I mean. And then, you know, yeah, like, can't we go back to that? Like, can we go back to when we were happy? Can't we just go back to that? But, you know, but apparently not. They're just gonna continue with, you know, obviously the main storyline with the main characters. I totally understand, I get it, but, you know, hello. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, I'm over it at this point. I'm over it. Hello. So, you know, yeah, it's just, you know, I've just been really getting out of sync with the show at this point, because, you know, yeah, it's, sorry, that was my cat monkey, but, you know, yeah, I've just been really falling out of sync with the show at this point, and, yeah, I think, you know, that's why I wanted to really make this video, is kind of explain why my reactions to the show have not been, you know, I haven't been posting them on my channel, and, you know, stuff like that, and, you know, yeah, and same with 911 Nashville as well, like, you know, I just, because, you know, ever since, you know, the new season started to come out, it just, you know, I've been feeling like, I think I'm growing out of interest of the show, and then, you know, stuff like that, and, I know 911 Nashville is a new spinoff for the universe and stuff like that, but I'm like, I just, you know, I honestly don't care, you know, because to me, from what I've heard and what I've seen a little bit, I'm like, to me, don't get me wrong, it'll probably have, you know, its mixes of, you know, like, hey, say it's, you know, like, it's a good show, but it, you know, to me, it's never gonna top Lone Star. It's never, no. At least in my opinion. So, because again, Lone Star, oh my god, to me, it was so good. Like, oh my god, so yeah, to me, Nashville will never top Lone Star, to me. So, yeah. Again, I find it ridiculous that they canceled, Lone Star after season 5, but, you know, if they had the reasons, whatever. Whatever, if they had the reasons, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, but, you know, either way. So yeah, that's why I've, you know, been slacking on making this video, because it's been kind of hard to talk about and, you know, kind of be, you know, open, because I know lots of people won't be, you know, thrilled about my decision, but, you know, yeah, I think for me, it's for the best, because, you know, but yet again, hey, you gotta move on eventually, right, sometimes, and, you know, yeah, sometimes these things happen, they're out of your control, and, you know, but yeah, but either way, I've just been, you know, I've been focusing on other things, which has been really, really, honestly, really helpful, and, you know, I've just been, you know, more, you know, I've been kind of expanding myself, you know, to, like, you know, to watch other things, and, you know, get invested in new things that I haven't, you know, seen before, you know, watched before, but, you know, so yeah, it's been really fun, it's been really good for me, to be honest with you, so, yeah, so I just, yeah. So yeah, to me, I think it's definitely time for me to put this chapter behind me and just, you know, put it to a close. I'm just, you know, I'm like, so yeah, again, for now, I'm still gonna be keeping up with the show, like, on social media and stuff like that, see what people are saying as the new episodes come out. And, you know, yeah, I'll still be keeping in touch with the show. Just, I feel like for reactions at this point, I'm just like, no. Like, I just feel like I've just been really, you know, I've just been really out of sync at this point, and, you know, I'm like, you know what, I just think it's, you know, I think it's time, you know, but, yeah. So yeah, again, like I said, I will be keeping up with the show, like, you know, on social media, see what people are saying, because, again, I know lots of people live tweet about the episodes as they, you know, are airing, and, you know, stuff like that. I'll be keeping up with that, like, you know, at least, you know, but as for, like, you know, reactions, I think it's, again, it's, you know, it's, yeah, it's kind of safe to say that I won't be posting reactions anymore to the show, because I'm just, like, I'm honestly, I think at this point, it's, you know, I've put that chapter behind me. Like, I feel like I've just been, you know, again, I've been focusing on, I've been focusing on other things, and just, you know, it's been, honestly, the best feeling for me, because I'm like, you know what, fuck the show at this point, because I'm like, I'm not sticking around anymore, because this is getting ridiculous, and, you know, but again, I understand at some lengths, I understand why, but yet again, I'm like, but still, fuck you. Fuck you, show. Fuck you. So, yeah, I'm probably not gonna check, I'll somewhat keep in touch with Lone Star, Nashville. I've somewhat kept in touch with Nashville, but I've more been mainly kind of, you know, just been sticking to 911, like, you know, seeing how things were going with the show, and, you know, stuff like that, or, like, seeing what people are saying about it, but, you know, whatever. So, but, yeah. So yeah, for those of you who've supported my past 911 videos, I seriously thank you so much. I've just been, you know, that journey, it's been one of the, you know, highlights of my life the past few years, and, you know, yeah, I just seriously want to thank you for bringing that, you know, for making that more, you know, special to me, and, you know, just, and the friends I've made in this fandom, you guys are just amazing, you guys are so sweet, excuse me, and, yeah, I will always and forever be grateful for the friends I made in this fandom, and, you know, yeah, it's just, you know, it'll always be special to me in its own ways, so, yeah, but sometimes you gotta move on, you know, life goes on, and, you know, yeah, sometimes it just, you know, it happens, it's out of your control, you just, you know, yeah, sometimes you just have to move on, and, you know, and other things, you know, come into your life, you pay more attention to, and, you know, some things you just wanna, you're like, you know what, it's best to, you know, close that chapter and, you know, move on, so, yeah. So yeah, again, thank you all so much who supported my 911 videos that I made in the past. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. For those of you who stuck around for those, I really appreciate it. You know, yeah. Again, I love my friends that I made in this fandom. I really do. And the ongoing new people I make in the new friends I make in the fandom as well. Like, you know, because I'll randomly meet some new people, whether they, you know, are just getting into the show, or, you know, or are into the show, and, you know, stuff like that. And then, you know, we become friends, you know, stuff like that. So yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry for those who are not happy with this decision I'm making, but for me, it's for the best. And yeah, I'm just like, yeah, again, I'm like, fuck the show at this point. I have other things to focus on, and I'm not wasting my damn time with kind of useless things that not really interesting to me right now. So yeah, honestly, the writers are to blame for that. So yeah, but whatever, it's whatever. So, but hey, I'm moving on. Lots of other things are going on. I'm really excited for lots of new upcoming things. I'm really excited for, because again, Resident Evil 9 is coming out at the end of next month. Reanimal's coming out February 13th, which is literally a day before Valentine's Day. So that new game's coming out next month. Both, you know. So yeah, both of those games are coming out in February. I'm so excited. Lots of upcoming things I'm so excited for. Like, you know, again, whenever the last half of season 6 of Miraculous, you know, now I do know that I do need to, you know, catch up with what's going on there, because I still have yet to see Reckless Driver. Yaxi goes in, and the Tokyo special. I promise you those reactions are coming. I promise you. It's just been life behind the scenes. It's been pretty wild right now. So yeah, I promise you I will get to those, and those will be out as soon as possible. I promise you. Just thank you for being patient for those, and yeah, and also my, I still have yet to see the last final 4 episodes of season 2 of Has-Been, so, and I also have yet to watch, Knights of Guinevere, the pilot to that, and, Mission Zero, the new canon version of the, Hell of a Boss pilot, so, yeah, lots of, quite a few things I still have yet to see / react to, and, you know, post up on the channel, so, I promise you those will be coming. I have no idea when. They'll be coming eventually, but thank you so much for those being patient for those. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just, so yeah, just lots of exciting things. Non-911 related, I'm really excited for. I can't wait, and yeah, it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be a fun ride. I cannot wait to, you know, experience that, and yeah, experience the new exciting things ahead. So yeah, goodbye 911. It's been a journey. I'll never forget it. So yeah, much love to my friends I've made in this fandom. I will forever love you and treasure you so much. And yeah, for the happy moments in 911, I will always treasure forever. Yeah, it's just, you know, again, thank you for those who supported my 911 videos that I put out in the past. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, again, like I said, it's a lot, and I know, but you know, sometimes you gotta move on, and life moves on. Life goes on, and you know, can't really do much about it. So, yeah. Much love to my 911 friends, this community. I love you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I will still briefly keep up with the show on social media and stuff like that. So, yeah, whatever other stuff you guys are watching on my channel, again, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I promise other stuff is coming on the channel, and yeah. Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy 2026. So yeah. Goodbye, 911. It's been a journey. I'll forever be grateful for the good, happy moments, and yeah.